My old friend used to wear this. It smells really good. I don't think it's the real stuff, but I recommend the smell of it. I mean, that was like 12 bucks at a chemist. I think it's supposed to be like $85 or something for real. This hairline is pissing me off. You're gonna see a lot of changes in me over the next couple of years probably, if you keep watching. I'm getting old, I'm wearing glasses, and my hair's going grey. So I got this from eBay. I think it was $15. Target's great for a natural look. Easy and fast, lasts up to 8 weeks. But stubble grows out every 3 days, doesn't it? I don't want to have high maintenance hair. Now you might think you've already got high maintenance hair, but that's just because I'm looking for the final solution that's easy and the fastest thing possible. I'm not trying to spend all my time on this shit. I want it to be quick and easy. And if I have to dye my hair every 3 fucking days or every 8 weeks, that sounds alright, 8 weeks maybe. But I think it would have to be more frequent than that. So I've got the 2 things to weigh up. Keep the sides short, which means I've got to keep the back short. Then somebody suggested go out like that and balloon the hairstyle, which is a possibility. Because I could gel that bit back but keep those side bits short, I guess, but that's still gonna get all grays and frizzy shit. So I don't know if this is just like a one-use thing. Yeah, by the looks of things, because I recognize it's the same type of bottle I use for bleaching. Color base, applicator with some color developer, gloves and instructions. Let me guess, add that to that, shake it up, and then add it to your hair, leave it exposed for the 30 minutes. It's basically hair dye. I don't know why it's just for men and targets the grey for a natural look. I don't understand what they're talking about. I don't know what it means. Because natural hair has multiple colours, not just one. If you have just one colour all throughout your hair, it looks like you dyed your hair. Pretty much. So this front hairline sucks, okay? So even though it's only been 4 days that I've had this on, I'm gonna take it off and see if I could do better. This bit back here that I snipped off probably made this thing just the same size as all the other hair pieces I've had on, which means all the other ones were failing to fill in that gap as well. So I don't know what the hell was going on all that time I was wearing it. I don't remember there being that massive gap all that time. This has got a heap of overhang as well. So the stencil would need to be reshaped after some experimentation. I have 1, 2 lace large pieces cut and 1, 2 poly pieces cut, and this was the 3rd. One of these lace pieces has nose to spine. That one has nose to spine. So that's the only really final one that I like out of all of the 4, or out of all the 5. Because I know that other one's gonna give me the same sort of effect. This definite wall of hair. The lace will give me that dirty line. And I've got about 6 small pieces left. Now that's only 4 days old, so I'm not gonna throw that away, but it's gonna be a last resort kind of deal. Whatever casting choice you would have picked for me in that previous moment, recast me now. I'm now the sidekick, or the guy who stays in the office, while the other guy goes on adventures and shoots the bad guys, right? Either that, or I'm the scientist who helps the bad guys figure out how the nuclear weapon needs to be built. That's what happens when you're bald. Or if I shave my head and I took the glasses off, potentially I could be one of the bad guys maybe, but I'm a bit too fat. If I was in shape, I had a V-type body instead of a fucking splobby, melted candle type body, then I could be fucking a bald fucking action guy. I got a bad back and I guess I'm getting too old for that shit. But not really, I think it's still okay. If you can run and shoot guns and shit, that's no reason not to. Here's an old piece, probably the piece I took off before I started experimenting with the larger pieces. You can see there the degradation of the roots being ripped out on that side. What's remaining on this side, it's like absolutely blank. But I'm just going to place it on my forehead as an experiment to see how far back this thing fits. It's already got some adhesive. There's a real difference in hair color there, and you can see the thinning of my natural hairs back here, but at least it's pressed up all the way against it, but it's a definite change in color. Look at that blank spot. A real absence of hairs there. So that's not the piece I'll be wearing. But I just wanted to say something. If this one has nose to spine hairs instead of no, this was that awful piece that has those giant chunks at the front. Yeah, no, this is awful, this piece. No good at all. Horizontal V-lips as well, so it's rubbish. Rubbish. So, let me just clean my head. Some C22 spray. Trying to see through that balding, is it? So this is a part that will never bald, there, but here it's all going to get lost along the way. Am I aiming at the camera correctly? I'm on my tippy toes. How bad is all that? You see? Might as well shave it. I I'll try not to shave it back any further though. And also I'll try to leave those little ones at the front there so I can see them as a marker, those natural hairs. So now as I raise my forehead, you can see that's the top nub, and that's the top of the top nub just there. So my hairline should go to about there. And you can see those little hairs there. They're naturally still growing. But you can see the degradation of what's happened in this area. That's really balding in all through there. There's sort of like little traces of ingrown hairs kind of thing maybe, but if I let my hair grow naturally now, they'd just be wispy, tiny little baby hairs that it would be embarrassing. It would be better to shave your head than walk around with that, trying to make curtains out of this little tuft that would be so light and feathery would annoy people. It's like, just shave it. I was learning some songs on the guitar so I can start trying to make some money from music again. Just put some alcohol in, just to, I don't know, make it even squeakier clean, I guess. Now the hairpiece that I'm choosing today is a very special guest of ours. We brought him all the way from the box, pre-cut, one of the last, but the very finest of the last, with hairs running from nose to spine, pre-bleached, and also a pre-glued front hairline. Let's welcome Mr. Hairpiece. Thank you. Yes, I've been in a box for a lot. Shut up. Get on my head. First of all, I just got to check that. No, not dry. I thought I'd be able to riff it for a long time, so I could be completely edit free this time. Because editing takes a bit of extra time. But luckily I've learned how to do it in my phone and cheat a little bit. So I just chunk it all together and just blast it at you. If it's small enough, otherwise I'm going to put it through handbrake so the upload is smaller. So this is going to be weird. I'll be placing the hairline down first without any alcohol. Hopefully that will be okay because it'll be just tacky and I'll be able to sort of lift into position. And because I know where the front hairline needs to be, I will then just see what's naturally happening as it comes back here. Instead of having to start back here and try to stretch down as best as it can. Because if it doesn't make the distance, then it's good night, and I will begin with one of these. Large ones. Probably a lace one, because I don't want to sacrifice my good poly just yet until this is totally ready. Because I can run out, I don't want to run out. And yeah, this is going to really limit my supplies by doing that. So I'm glad I haven't shaved back further than I needed to yet. That extra bit will probably get shaved off in the next couple of weeks. Probably as I go to the larger piece, because I can see clearly that that is really thinning up there. Especially when it's wet and you see this gigantic border. was a mistake. It's completely wet. I'll tell you what, I will go and wait for this to dry and come back. Okay, should be dry by now. So I'm going to try to directly place this on my front hairline without any mistakes. The reason I'm not adding alcohol is because I don't want to smush the glue around on my forehead. And the reason I'm doing it hairline first is because I want to get an idea of what everyone else experiences with those full head pieces. Like, what the fuck are you thinking putting the front hairline down first? It seemed crazy, but here we go. Let's have a look. This is like the fucking Darth Vader method. Alright, let's have a look. Where's that top knob? And also those little hairs I left. Is it central? Gotta make sure that your temples are in the right spot. Is it too high? It's folding on itself. Yeah, I don't like having the pre-glued hairpiece. I think it's a good idea. I can already feel that it's fallen short of the back. I think my aim was fairly good, if that is equal on that side. That's not good. There is glue stuck to the wrong side, isn't there? I'm just seeing things. It looks like there's hair on that side. This was the wrong idea, but as your guinea pig, it's my responsibility to test things, new ideas on myself. Why are the hairs coming so far up from out of there? It looks really much. Am I just seeing things? What's going on? Does that not look to you like they're coming out of the glue? Maybe they're just folding upwards. Now that the alcohol's on, it's going to take longer to dry and it can't be stretched into position. It not only feels like it's fallen short up here, it feels like it's fallen short at the temples as well. That's all the way back there. This hairpiece is probably too small, isn't it? Great, now all those hairs have glue on it. fucking weird. Oh, maybe the whole thing's bent. It's curled in on itself. Fuck. Yeah, don't pre-glue your hairpiece. I'm ripping hairs out too. That's fucked. I fucked it. Yeah, don't do this. This is a stupid idea. That needs cleaning. Tragedy. This is really bad. This is the worst experience in my hair application history. I can't even understand what the fuck is going on there. That curling that's happening there. That can't be allowed to stay. Oh fuck. That's torn it. You want to see a rip? I didn't get to see up here, remember, you've seen it, I haven't, okay? So, I guess it's time to put on another large hairpiece. Fuck. Keep your hands clean of glue. It's very, very important. You get very frustrated if you don't get the glue off your hands. Give it a soak. Well, it looks like I have no really good small hair pieces left. So I'm going to put on a large one, but I'm not going to shave back in until absolutely necessary. I hope I don't end up doing that tonight. I hope it just fits right up square against there. Perfectly. I'll use a lace piece. That's the worst of the two lace pieces. If the last piece is any indication with that stencil size, even though these feel like they're not even making it to the edges, there should be overhang. This is symmetrical, by the way. And I have bleached a little bit along the front edge here, even though it's lace. I just thought I'd try a bit of fade. A little blonde at the bit. And the knots are certainly aren't perfect in there. You can see the difference between where the knots are bleached better up here compared to here. Okay, so I'm going to clean up all this mess and with that, glue that in preparation. And when it's dry, I'll come back. I figured I might as well just show you the tape marking method once again. So I don't exactly know where the hairline should actually be until the back is on and I push forward to see exactly where it will land. But I know where the hairline needs to be, vaguely, based on the top nub here. So I'm going to start with a blue piece of tape to the bottom part of where I want the glue to land, where I want the hairpiece to be. Because I know this will exceed the distance back here. I just need to figure out a nice curve. I wish I had more of a tan to go by. So I'm guessing. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I suppose most people's heads would be about the same size. using this tape, if you buy this tape. Your head needs to be dry, so if it's summertime for you, or if your bathroom, which is usually the hottest room in the house, because usually it doesn't have as much ventilation because of all the privacy windows and whatever. And at least have a fan in the bathroom for yourself. I really go up to the edges here, but last time I had a glob of glue that got underneath that tape there. This might not be the ultimate tape, by the way. Hold. So I'm just coming towards doing the thickish layer towards the front, and I've realized it's probably best to go in that direction, to stroke upwards with the brush. And this time I'm not even using a headband because I really want to see right back to the edge that it's all got enough glue right back to there, so there can be no mistake about the bald patch. So if there's any baldness back here, it'll be clear that it's part of the baldness and not part of the unglued area. Not part of the area that's supposed to have glue but doesn't have glue. So the tape marking method allows you to get a nice thick layer all the way along the front hairline, but just bear in mind I have guessed this hairline, so I'm going to try to aim the hairpiece onto this shape, which I hope is exactly correct. You don't want the brush to go underneath that tape, otherwise you'll have glue on your forehead. Okay, so if this is 100% of the area, then that means that I only have had to glue once, and that's it. I need to put the hairpiece on straight away, which would be cool. It's never really happened that way before. Unless it's, yeah, even with poly, you've still got to glue the front bit last. Let's just hope that this will fit. I'm going to wet that now and brush it into position to get it ready. In the past, I've sometimes decided I should brush it from the middle that way, so I can line up the sides and make sure it's symmetrical. I might still do that. So the way to do that is fold it in half, and because this is completely symmetrical, it should be exact. Get the temple to the other temple, like that. And then make sure that's all flattened in the center, and then I'm going to brush away from the center and on both sides. On my knee, Your knee is the place to brush your hairpiece. By the way, the ventilation of that poly piece from a couple of days ago is non-conclusive. I don't know if it'll work or not in the future. Hello there, my name's Jennifer. What's your name? A lot of interesting little characters come along, don't they? Oh, yes, I'm going to pray on that hill up there. Does it remind you of the Dark Crystal or something? It's a character you'd expect to see in there, isn't it? That's exactly how it would look. Do you think he'd be more of a swishy, kind of scary, shitty fucking thing? There's some dark game, like, was inside when you're underwater and something's chasing you, these tentacles trying to get you. It was something like this. It hasn't obeyed the split right down the middle of the brushing exactly, but we'll see. I'm pretty worried about something. My glue's dry now, okay? Here's what I'm afraid of. This is the hairpiece. Which side do you think looks better? Given the bleached or unbleached side. I'd say this side looks nicer than these dark black dots here. You can just see how dark that is. Really very badly bleached. But unfortunately, the side with the good knots is on the opposite side of that stuff. So that's going to be the front with the bad knots. Damn it. They are very thick, dark knots all the way along there. Hate lace. Here we go. Let's hope this fits. So it's getting a lot more awkward than my usual size hairpiece. The bigger it is, the harder all this stuff is to do. I can't even imagine how hard it is with all that curvature and that length and that floppy hair and stuff getting caught in glue and stuff. It must be a pain in the ass. Whenever you miss, these hairs will pull through again and they get caught all over your glue. That's why poly is a lot easier, okay? Clearly that's going to be the back part. I can't have them with the front hairline. It's easier to do the back first than the front, but I need to do the front first in this case. See, I can't even really spray water in a way that will go through the lace. That's why I did it on an angle, so it couldn't go through there. But the hair needs to be obviously wet so I can brush it. Just hope it landed nicely. See, that's actually quite I glued a bit low. I don't blame my aim there, really, as much as I blame my tape marking position. Because those, I really wouldn't want them to go much lower than where they're already going. So I'm gonna really have to wash that glue off that forehead there. Because that's gonna be a real mess. Unless I can think of something that will deactivate it. Talcum powder doesn't. Just makes a bloody mess. I'm sure inhaling talcum powder would not be good for your health. But it smells nice. See, I don't know if that's a fold that I put there accidentally. Maybe I do have to lift that back up. There is a fold I've got here, which means, yeah, so the lump, there's a lump there, and well, that's just bent because there's no glue. And then, no, I don't think this lump here is supposed to be there. I think this thing needs to be dragged down, but it's already sort of at the right height altitude, isn't it, on both sides? Do you think? Or is that a bit too high? It's so hard to correct something this size. And I've got a fold there as well. Yeah, I've got a bunch of folds, so I'm gonna have to lift it back up. The place is messy. Look at that line of dirt that's already there instantly. I can't tug too hard on that as well, otherwise it'll open. There was a fold in there that I had to get rid of. It feels a lot lower, maybe too low. I don't know. So this is French lace, a large piece. Large for me, it's about that big. So there's overhang back here, but not that much. I can see now why I cut off too much last time. But you can also see if there's no, if it's hair underneath, you can definitely see the netting. And if it was poly, it would be even more pronounced, that kind of overhang stuff. Is what poly looks like over hair. It's hard to tell because you can't see it without hair. That's what it looks like over skin. That's what it looks like over hair. These look like they're different colors, but they're actually the same color. One's wet, which makes things dark. Okay, so to clean this, I'm gonna put some StickOnHair. By spraying onto the baby wipe. It's really not going to achieve that much, but it's probably better than nothing. Now I'm pressing hard to try and scoop it off, but there's still going to be residue. And I'll just recharge that with some more C22. The bigger the hairpiece, it seems, as you would expect, the more difficult the placement. And my prayers go out to all of you who have a full topper, or worse, because that'd be a pain in the ass to deal with. Front partials are enough trouble. So you can see there how unbleached these knots are. It's really like a thicket of black dead ants. Everybody agrees that knots must be bleached. So for this hairstyle today, I think I'll try something like leave-in hair conditioner. Maybe. Has no hold at all, but let's take a look at it. This is Prescriptive Solutions Revive Moisture Repair. Well, I guess it's not leave-in conditioner, it's moisture repair, but the lady in the shop assured me that it was leave-in conditioner. So, under normal circumstances, I would never recommend creating the front hairline of glue before you put the rest of the hairpiece down first. Unless you've got to come from the back first, and you've got to go from the front to the back for some reason. But as you know, I'm not an authority on the back part of the head. Seeing it, gluing it, shaving it, getting glue off it, fixing it, cleaning it. It seems like a fucking pain in the ass and probably impossible without two people. That's very sticky. There'll be a lot of dirt and stuff there in the morning because I misguessed that where the hairline would be placed. I tried my hardest to make it land there, but then I had folds and other things going on. For now, I don't think I'll even cut it. Go to bed like that. When your hair's perfectly neat like this, it really makes it a lot clearer how haggard your face is, or my face is. Like, I'm not Prince Charming at the moment. I look fucking like decaying. I am a robot. Yeah, this hairpiece suffers badly because of the very dark, very dark knots here. So I don't like this hairpiece either. I've got this mounting issue here with graying hairs, which is stressing me out. Not as much as balding did, but still, they like it. I'm gonna give it a 6mm beard trim. 6. So just getting rid of those extra flyaway bits. 6mm is a good length for sideburns, I think. Well, it's neat, I guess. What do you guys think? Lace or poly? You might think about it again after tomorrow when I show you how much fucking dirt I had to clean up off of this. But if I'd done the same stupid thing with poly, but I wouldn't have had to, because I would just flew straight to the poly and just pushed it down. But I didn't, did I? I fucked up with the poly piece and so I had to throw it away. So I'm lying. Anyway, that method sucks a lot. This blue tack might need to be replaced. I think it's deteriorated over time. Well, no bald spots. Oh, and this overhang is probably similar to the overhang of people who've got a full topper that comes back here and they haven't aimed it properly or whatever. Anyway, let's see how it works out by tomorrow.